Welcome to Spelling Bee Ninja, where we dive into the world of English grammar in a way that's both fun and easy to understand. Today, we will explore a fundamental aspect of English that helps us talk about things that have already happened, the past simple tense. This tense is crucial for describing actions, events, and even stories from the past. Whether you're sharing a memorable experience or simply stating facts about history, understanding the past simple is key. So, let's get started. The past simple tense is all about talking about actions or events that started and finished in the past. It's one of the most commonly used tenses in English, and mastering it opens up a world of storytelling. The structure of the past simple tense is straightforward. First, in an affirmative sentence, we typically use the subject followed by the past form of the verb. For example, you might say, I walked to school or she watched a movie last night. Here, walked and watched tell us about actions that are complete. Let's move to negative sentences. To form a negative sentence in the past simple, we use did not or its contraction didn't followed by the base form of the verb. For instance, I didn't walk to school and they didn't play soccer yesterday. Inform listeners that those actions did not take place. Now, how do we ask questions? In interrogative sentences, we start with did, then follow with the subject and the base form of the verb. For example, did you walk to school or did she watch a movie last night? These structures help you build your English language skills for communicating about the past effectively. Another essential aspect of the past simple tense is the distinction between regular and irregular verbs. Regular verbs are easy to deal with, they form the past tense by adding ed to the base form. So, for the verb walk, we add ed to get walked. Some more examples include play becoming played and talk becoming talked. Remember to follow specific spelling rules for regular verbs, like adding d if the verb already ends with e, such as love to loved. If a verb ends with a consonant followed by y, you change the y to I before adding ed, like study to studied. And for one-syllable verbs that end in a single vowel and a consonant, we double the consonant before adding ed, so stop becomes stopped. Irregular verbs, on the other hand, are a bit trickier. They don't follow a set pattern, and you have to memorize their past forms. For example, go changes to went, eat to ate, and write to wrote. Understanding the uses of the past simple tense is vital as well. For instance, we use it to describe completed actions. A great example would be saying I visited Paris last summer, which clearly indicates that this experience is in the past. We can also use the past simple to narrate a series of actions that happened one after the other, like saying, he got up, brushed his teeth, and went to work. This structure helps convey the flow of events smoothly. Moreover, the past simple can express past habits or routines. Think about how you can say, we always walked to school when we were kids. This usage reminds us of things we did often, but don't do anymore. And lastly, we sometimes link the past simple to specific times. For example, the train arrived at 8 p.m. tells us exactly when something occurred. Certain keywords or time markers usually accompany the past simple tense, guiding us on when these actions took place. Some common time markers are yesterday, last night, ago, and in. For example, if I say, she traveled to Italy last summer, the word last indicates that the trip occurred in a specific past time frame. Similarly, when I mention, I met him 2 years ago, the phrase 2 years ago tells us exactly how long it has been since that event. Now, it's essential to distinguish the past simple from other tenses that discuss the past. Sometimes, students confuse it with the past continuous or the present perfect tense. The past simple focuses on actions that are completed, while the past continuous describes ongoing actions. For instance, I could say, I was watching TV when the phone rang, where watching TV was happening in the past but was interrupted. On the other hand, the present perfect relates an action to the present, like saying, she has visited Paris before, emphasizing the experience's relevance today. Some common errors occur when using the past simple. One of the biggest mistakes is using the base form of the verb instead of the past form. For example, saying, I go to the park yesterday is incorrect. The right phrase is, I went to the park yesterday. Another frequent mistake is confusing regular and irregular verbs. For instance, saying, he go to the store instead of he went to the store shows that the past form of go is indeed went. Forgetting to use did in questions and negatives can also trip you up. If you say, did she watch the movie? It should be, did she watch the movie? To master the past simple tense, here are some helpful tips. First, practice regularly with both regular and irregular verbs. A great way to do this is to create flashcards for irregular verbs and review them often. Creating a habit of using the past simple in your daily conversations boosts your confidence and fluency. So try to incorporate these structures into your speaking and writing. Lastly, engaging with stories or historical texts can significantly enhance your understanding, as they often use the past simple tense to narrate events. Today, we covered the past simple tense, an essential part of English grammar. We discussed its straightforward structure, how it helps us describe completed actions, and the distinction between regular and irregular verbs. Remember the rules for changing verbs into the past form, but also be aware of the common pitfalls, like mixing up verb forms or forgetting auxiliary verbs in questions. Practice is key. Using the past simple in your conversations and reading materials will help reinforce your learning. Thanks for joining us on Spelling Bee Ninja. We hope this exploration of the past simple tense made grammar a little clearer and more enjoyable for you. Keep practicing your English, and remember, storytelling is one of the best ways to express yourself. Until next time, happy learning.